Hey Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about idol animes. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
And today we're gonna talk about another anime.
Whoa, what? Plot twist.
I don't know how to smooth in. Like,
okay,
how do you
fine.
get in this?
Welcome to iDOL Days. Today we're talking about another guydol show. We've got 2 in a row, y'all.
2 guydol shows in a row, which again is for us guy idol. Guydol.
Guydol. Guydol. Guydol's.
So I figured I'd just continue on the guydol train while I was here.
Yeah, because you asked me for show recommendations after we finished iDOL 7, and I threw a few at you.
Yes, you did. And I was like, I will try one with the boys.
Yeah, my background with this show, we're talking about Tsukiuta today, because we haven't actually said the title of the show. Tsukiuta, the animation.
Tsukiuta spelled with T, S-U-K-I-U-T-A, so it's not S.
It's like moon song in Japanese or something. It's we'll have to explain the puns when we get further into it, because this whole thing is frickin' wordplay.
Yes.
I love it. But I actually, my history with this show is in looking for more idol anime a couple years ago, I think I watched like the first episode and a half of this show when it was fairly new, and I got real bored. And so I just never came back to it, because this was still in my disenfranchised, I don't care about guydol shows thing. But if I'm honest, I just went back and watched a couple clips of it just on YouTube right before we started this call. And I feel like iDOL 7 may have been my gateway drug into giving guydol shows a chance again. Because I'm like, oh, they're cute boys. I want to hear what Sarah says about it. Sarah, what do you think about this show that you watched?
Well, Star, and I'm so sorry, Tsukiuta fans, but it wasn't very good.
Oh no!
I was holding out until we talked about this on camera for you to hear it, Star. But
well, honestly, that does make me feel better about not finishing it.
Yes, I've been holding this in for a few weeks, so I could reveal it to you while we were recording, but my opinions were not very good. Like, it wasn't horrible. It was not the worst anime in the whole world. But it was hard to keep my attention focused on watching it.
Honestly, that's kind of the problem I had. Again, I only watched like the first episode and a half before I got bored and noped out. But it feels like it was fan service specifically to people who were already familiar with the characters, because this was based on a radio drama series, wasn't it?
It's based on a lot. So I'm not sure of the timeline, but at first it was drama CDs, I believe. And then there were, it came out with albums and singles and CDs for the boys. And then I think it was a PSP game.
I was wondering if it was a game at any point, because it feels like the mobile games are where all the hot idol money is right now.
Oh, yes. The mobile games also. So I think it was PSP, and then it was a mobile game. And then, fun fact is, this show was a collaboration with Animate, like the franchise, the store.
Oh, like the anime store?
Yeah, the anime store. They sponsored Tsukiuta, the anime, for their 30th anime anniversary. Apparently they had a bunch of anime come out, and they had exclusive merchandise.
Sounds legit.
And I am so sorry. I know that there are many Tsukiuta fans out there, most of them not necessarily in the English-speaking side of the world.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not sure if I've ever met a fan of this show, like in the English-speaking audience.
When I was trying to see other English speakers' opinions on it, there was very little. And it seems like most people who had watched the anime were fans of the series beforehand, which is really the way I would go about watching the series. Is I would watch it if I was fans of the boys.
But that's about it.
That's probably about it. And I'm so sorry, Tsukiuta fans.
You don't have to apologize. Well, Sarah, here, listen. What you're doing to Tsukiuta right now is what I'm going to have to do to Love Live in a couple episodes. Oof. So this is your penance.
So, Tsukiuta. So, Star mentioned earlier that the name means moon song, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, everything is puns.
Everything is puns.
The plot for the anime, the plot takes place on Earth. It's pretty straightforward, normal-ish things are happening.
The fact that you said it's on Earth as if there was another option makes me raise my eyebrow very suspiciously.
We'll get there.
Is there... Oh, okay.
We'll get there.
I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait because I feel like you're gonna drop some shit on me. I'm waiting.
Yes, there's some shit to drop. And beginning of the puns, there's 12 boys, and all of their last names correspond with the traditional Japanese names for months of the year.
Love it.
Yes, so they go from December, January, all the way through November is kind of the order they're presented in. And the 12 boys are divided into 2 groups, so in half to 2 groups. And one of the groups is called Six Gravity, and the other group is, I don't even know how you pronounce this.
I have no idea how you pronounce this name.
Procellarum?
Procellarum?
They call them Procella in the anime, so I'll probably call them Procella. Six Gravity is apparently, from what I was researching, the Earth's gravity is approximately 6 times the amount of the moon, and then it still has moon song. And then
boy.
Procellarum is the name of like one of the valleys on the moon or something. Also, sorry to space nerds. And I'm sorry for calling you nerds.
I think they know.
That's
Nerds
true.
is a term of endearment on this podcast. Don't worry about it. Okay, so tell me more about these puns and these boys.
Okay, so last names. All of their first names kind of have their own puns. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that there are 12 boys in Tsukiuta, the animation. In Tsukiuta, the franchise, there are 12 boys, and there are also 12 girls.
Yeah, I saw like a teensy bit of this on the wiki, but I know nothing about these girls. I guess they weren't important enough to get their own anime.
But they do make an appearance. And I will tell you details about the girls when we get there, because it's wild. All right, Stars, so I sent you a picture of the boys, right?
You did.
Okay, so I will go into this, the synopsis of the series, the way the show gets into things, which is they just straight run through all the boys and what their names are. This is how it opens.
So it pulls an Idolmaster opening?
It pulls worse than Idolmaster opening because it's not...
Oh, no!
Yeah, they're all apparently on a TV show, and it's like, hey, introduce yourselves, and then it's really like one line. My name is this. My name is this. My name is this.
Oh,
and then maybe you
God.
get one line with what they like, what their personality is, but not even that.
Woof.
So this is how the show opens.
Ouch. I don't remember this at all.
It was rough. And the other thing, too, is, again, if you're not a fan of the franchise, there are 12 of them.
That's like one less than Idolmaster, but if you can lump the twins together into one character, because, I mean, they're twins, then that's like 12.5. So Idolmaster still wins, but it's almost the same. But Idolmaster at least like gives you a glimpse into their personalities before they do their kind of introductions.
Yes. And then there's also 12 boys, and there's 13 episodes.
Oof.
So I'm going to go through the boys in order of the picture I sent you, Star. And this is actually in the month parody order. It is
okay,
not...
I was going to ask.
Yes. This is not the order that they introduced themselves in the show. One other thing to note is the boys, they don't have image colors, which makes it a little harder.
No.
Because if you look, there's
like 3 blonde ones.
There's 3 blonde ones, and there's a few gray hair ones, and there's 2 brunettes. Yeah, it's hard to even describe them.
There's like 3, there's 2 light brown and 1 brown hair, and there's a random boy with green hair, and there's Sylvain Fire Emblem is here.
He has a little ponytail.
He does have a little ponytail, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, your hair is ridiculous. And you look like Sylvain Fire Emblem.
I'm going to go in order for you from this picture, specifically. Okay. So first is Kakeru.
Okay, he's the blonde one?
He's the blonde one.
He looks like Honey from Oron.
He does kind of look like Honey from Oron.
We're continuing our Oron ultimate crossover from the Idolish 7 episode.
Hey, it helps. So next on the list is Hajime. And he is the January representative. And so the first few that I'm introducing, the first 6, these are the members of Six Gravity, the subgroup. So next is Hajime, and he is the January person, and he is the leader of Six Gravity.
Sarah, so I told you before we started, I wrote down all of my impressions of these boys just based on their looks and the music videos I watched. Would you like me to tell you these as we introduce the characters? Or
Please
okay.
tell me.
Okay, yeah, so first boy, what did you say his name was? The blonde one?
Yes.
Kakaru? Okay, he looks like Honey from Oran.
Agreed.
He's like very, very blonde, short, kind of fluffy hair. He's cute. Hajime, you said, was the next boy? January? He looks like a fucking pirate.
He absolutely does.
His like coat he wears for his stage outfit is real long. He looks like a pirate, and
really
he's got
low cut shirt.
Really low cut. You see like all that titty cleavage. All their outfits have like the little tassely epaulette thingies. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, y'all are all pirates, but this is the pirate captain.
And he is. He's the pirate king.
And he also has like pink highlights in his hair, just like a touch of pink.
So the wild thing is the pink is only when he's performing.
What?
So when I saw him out of a performance, I'm like, I don't remember you.
He's got clip-in pink?
I think clip-in pink. Or maybe
that's cheating.
Maybe it's hair chalk.
Or maybe when his idol powers activate, he's like a magical girl. He's like one of them Precure magical girls, and his hair changes color, but only that little tiny bit. Sarah, his grandmother was a magical girl.
Uh-huh.
And he like has just a little bit left of his magical girl genes left in him, and it like makes part of his hair pink.
Okay.
When he's on stage.
I believe it. 100%. I'm here. I'm in it. All right. So next boy is probably the one that you can actually, one of the two that you can actually remember is Koi, because he has pink hair.
He's got pink hair and a lot of barrettes.
Yeah, he has a bunch of barrettes.
I just wrote for his sports ?
Ooh, he's not the sports one.
Oh, no, he's not the sports one. He looks like the sports one, though.
I know. There is a sports one, though.
I love that he's February and he's pink.
Yeah, he's pink. And then next is Haru. He's glasses boy.
He's glasses. He's got like kind of almost greenish blonde hair.
What is your thoughts on Haru's?
I just kind of wrote ? Serious maybe?
Haru's one where I never really completely grasped his personality, but I would say he's kind of serious.
An enigma.
Next is Arata. He has gray hair.
It's like a dark gray. It's almost black in the videos that I watched. I wrote, he looks like Iori from iDOL 7.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like an emo boy.
His personality, which you'll find out later, is that he doesn't have a personality.
Oh, no!
He said he's bad at showing emotions. That's his personality.
My personality is none.
And then the last character on this really pale blonde hair is Aoi. And he's the last 6 Gravity member.
Yeah, so he's got like straw blonde hair, blue eyes. My only impression of him is from watching the music videos. He's got a weird voice.
Yeah, a little
His
bit.
voice is really like kind of raspy, and it sticks out so much from the other boys. It's like, are you just always whispering? What's your deal, boy?
One thing I will also note is because they were drama CDs, so I think the way that Tsukiuta kind of came into existence is there were a bunch of, from what I read, Vocaloid songwriters and producers who ended up collaborating with a bunch of voice actors that are really popular. So a lot of the boys' popularity actually comes from people being fans of the voice actors.
That makes a lot of sense, because also if it's a radio play, they have to have distinct enough voices for you to be able to tell them apart.
Yes, it definitely makes sense. And also, I know there's a lot of iDOL franchise, well, not even iDOL franchises, but a lot of anime that gain traction because of their cast.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So we're going to move on to Procella.
Procellarum. Proclarum.
So first character, green hair boy, is Rui, and he's a shy one.
He's cute. I wrote down that he is soft and he looks like my son Vector.
I always think that he's like broccoli.
Oh no!
He looks like broccoli. So next is Kai. He has like slick back brown hair. I wrote down that he looks the most normal.
Yeah, kinda. I just wrote that he looks edgy. He looks like if this were a regular anime, he'd be like the sports character rival. He'd be like, I'm gonna beat you at volleyball.
He does kind of take a sort of leadership position. So I think one way you can split them apart is, even just from the picture, there's 4 boys who are kind of the older ones, which is like Hajime, Haru, Kai, and then the last character we haven't met yet, Shun. And they're kind of like the grown-ups, and then everyone else is like the kids.
The babies. Yeah, they kind of have that look about them.
So next is Redhead Sylvain boy, and this is Yo.
He looks, hello, Sylvain Fire Emblem. Yo, it's Sylvain Fire Emblem!
Yo, he has a little ponytail.
I hope everyone listening to our podcast has played Fire Emblem.
They're going to be looking up both the characters and the Fire Emblem characters, and they're like, what is
He looks
this?
like Sylvain Fire Emblem. Sarah, please answer. Is he a playboy like Sylvain Fire Emblem? Because he looks like he is. Oh, what? I mean, listen, I don't actually care about Playboy types. He's giving a very seductive look to the camera in this picture.
The character next to him, so this was Yo. The character next to him, he has grayish, greenish hair. He has a weird ahoge.
It's kind of brown.
Yes, kind of brownish. And he is Yoru. So there's a Yo, Y-O-U, and there's Yoru, Y-O-R-U.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
We're getting in trouble with this cast already.
Yep. Next to him is Iku. Iku is the sports one.
I wrote down he gives me iDOL7 Mitsuki vibes.
And then the last character is Shun.
Okay.
I have my main notes about him is he has a Justin Bieber haircut.
He does, though.
And Priscilla, their uniforms, like, so Six Gravity has, like, the blue uniforms, like the dark navy blue, and Priscilla has white uniforms. Shun is the leader of Priscilla, and they call him, like, the white demon, or the white devil.
Oh, okay, Sarah, can I tell you what I wrote about him? Because I actually wrote the most about him.
I'm ready.
I wrote that he looks like he's Pirate Boy's secret lover. It's like a Romeo and Juliet thing between the two groups, because they both have big leader energy, but one has black hair and one has white hair, and one has a blue outfit and one has a white outfit, and I have not seen this show. I'm not a shipper. That's your job, but I kind of ship it.
Okay, so Star, here's the other thing I have with Tsukiuta.
Okay.
Is I like a good ship.
Mm-hmm.
Tsukiuta is like pushing it down your throat. Like,
oh boy.
Like not like, oh, they're in love, but more like they're baiting the fangirls to buy merchandise sort of pushing.
No, gay baiting.
Yeah, and
gross.
I mean, you can take your own opinion on it, but it just kind of felt very forced, if that makes sense.
We hate to see it.
Yeah. But Shun is a fanboy of Hajime. Like, he collects all his merchandise and is like, I'm your number one fan and stuff like that.
Okay, that's kind of cute. Is it cute, Sarah?
It's kind of in a creepy way. He has like a shrine in his dorm. Yeah. He sleeps with a body pillow. I don't know.
Oh no.
It's played for laughs, if that makes sense. Less for ahs and more for ha-has.
He did not look like a man who would have a body pillow. But
he's like the mysterious one.
He's the white-haired anime boy edge. Does he have a tragic backstory? All the white-haired anime boys gotta have a tragic backstory.
We don't know what his backstory is.
So he's the Takane of the group.
A lot. I would say Takane is a very, very good analogy for a lot of different ways. Okay, so 12 boys. I don't expect all of you to remember that because the whole time I was taking notes, I kept going back up to the top to remember their names. Because I would like to remind you, we have a Hajime and a Haru. So, like, the two H is not that bad, right? Mm-hmm. We have Koi and Kakeru, right? And Kai. Koi, Kakeru, Kai. They're all three different characters.
Oof. Don't abbreviate that.
The one that really gets me is Yo and Yoru. Because they're both in Procella. And they're actually like best friends, so they're in scenes together a lot, and I always am like, which one's Yo and which one's Yoru?
I think I can remember just by that dumb fucking joke I made earlier. Yo! He looks more like a yo person.
He does look more like a yo.
I think he's gonna be the only one whose name I remember after this.
I will still go through this episode by episode, but I will say with a few exceptions, the show is very episodic. My overall opinion is each episode feels like it should have been a drama CD and not an anime episode.
That was one of the things that bugged me, was it like there was no emotional or plot through line to any of the episodes?
Yes.
It feels like you could have just dropped in literally anywhere and still understood what you would have understood if you started from episode 1.
I'll get into it, but I feel like the show didn't do a very good job of bringing out a lot of emotion from the characters or from the fans to the characters. And I feel like that's something that you probably would get if you had a lot of the backstory. And again, we're already a fan of the franchise, but overall, lots of things kind of felt hollow. And some of that was just because I was keeping up with who everybody was.
Sarah, before we get into the episodes, do we want to talk about the one saving grace of this show and the reason I think you wanted to watch it in the first place?
Yes. It has really pretty 3D animation.
I would honestly say, probably the best 3D animation I've ever seen in an iDOL anime.
It's absolutely gorgeous. You can even just search the Tsukiuta dance sequences. They're beautiful, they're shiny, they move well.
Yes, like, it's incredibly crisp, very nice to look at, and considering this is 3D anime, that's extremely hard to come by.
Yeah, and they don't have the dead look in their faces that some 3D dance scenes get. They're emoting, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because my thing is usually when you have poorly done CG in an anime, specifically idol anime, let's stick to that, the eyes will kind of look flat and dead. They don't emote very much. In the case of 22/7, it was like the animation was really stiff, and they just kind of looked like their joints weren't working all the way and all the time. This show, like, I couldn't give a shit about this show. I'll just put it out there. I've watched the music videos. There's 3 that are easily findable on YouTube. I don't know if there's any more in the series than that. There's a Six Gravity song. There's a Procolarum song. There's a Percolating song.
There's a Percolating song.
I'm just gonna call him Percolating. And then there's a song that I would assume is like the final episode song, which with all 12 boys in it.
Yes.
The music is extremely good. Very good jams. The animation is fucking gorgeous.
It's really pretty.
I love the choreography, honestly. Like, if I could find, like, 5 other people, I would absolutely love to learn this choreography. I think it would be really fucking fun. Because it just looks fun to dance to.
Yes.
And, like, I've watched these videos, like, dozens of times just because they're so much fun to watch and it's nice to look at. And apparently that's the only good thing about this show.
Yes, so...
According to Sarah.
There are parts about the show I enjoyed, but would I watch it again? No, I would not. If I was watching this show casually and not for a podcast, I would have done the 3 episode and dump it.
I'm sorry I made you sit through it.
And there were some episodes I did enjoy.
Okay.
Which again, it just feels like it should have been a drama CD.
Yeah. They just wanted a drama CD with pictures, maybe.
So first episode, in a lot of ways, I enjoyed. So you just got through all the boys being introduced, all 12 of them, completely overwhelmed. You don't know anything about their personalities because most of them, except for like maybe Rui, who was shy about it, you're like, I have no idea who these people are.
You have names and faces in like a flashcard format. And that's all you know.
Then the TV clicks off because all these boys are introducing themselves on the TV. And there is a girl and she's coughing and she's sick and her room is covered in pictures of Kakeru, the honey senpai, or in High School Host Club, honey senpai.
The blonde one.
She is a Kakeru lover. She is the Oshiman for Kakeru. And she is so upset because that same day, there's a handshake event for Kakeru with some sort of special merchandise you can only get at this one event in the handshake line. At the same time, she's sitting there with her little brother, like little tiny boy. And he's all like, man, you're like obsessed with these guys. What's up? And then she's like, can you please go to the handshake event for me and pick up this merch?
Oh, jeez.
Little boy's name is Shunpei, which probably wasn't the best choice of name because there is a character named Shun, and I just got to know who the character named Shun is, and now there's a Shunpei, but here we are.
Oh, boy. And
because he's a good brother, he's like, okay, I'll go.
How old is this kid?
Oh, gosh, he seems young. He's maybe like 10, 11, elementary school or like barely middle school.
Gotcha.
And so he goes to this event and he's like, because he's a little kid, so he's like shoulder height with everybody else, right? And everybody else is like a horde of fangirls. So like he's there, he's trying to figure out where to go. He's never been to an event like this before. And Shunpei decides, well, I think the best thing for me to do is to go inside this building and I can ask a staff member where to go.
Uh-oh.
And so while he's in the back area, he runs into Kakeru.
Hey.
But he doesn't know it's Kakeru because he's not a fan.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Shenanigans happen. And he's all like, yeah, I'm here for my sister who loves Kakeru. Mr. Staff Member, can you tell me where to go later?
Oh, boy.
Shunpei, like the little boy, is all like, yeah, I even like learned some of the dances from my sister who listens to their music all the time. And he does a little idol dance, and it was cute.
Ha, cute.
Oh, the boys who are there are Kakeru, so Honey Senpai. There's Koi, the pink one. And then Rui, broccoli, shy boy.
Okay.
So it's the 3 boys. They're all like, you're doing so good. This is where you're supposed to go. Just wait outside. And then somehow what happens is then like Kakeru, Koi, and Rui are like, why don't we go outside with Shunpei and hang out with him before the handshake event? Which is like,
what?
How do they have time for this?
Yeah, shouldn't you guys be, like, rehearsing or something?
It didn't make a lot of sense. But they go outside, they hang with Shunpei, shenanigans happen, they're, like, on a Ferris wheel.
What?
They take a bunch of, like, pictures in, like, a photo booth with Shunpei, and they're like, oh, we're having so much fun. And then they get a call from one of the other members, and the guy's like, hey, where are you? And they're like, oh, you know.
Just vibing.
I thought this was going to be a whole thing where they'd be late or something, but no, they just drop off Shunpei, and then they go back. And then the end of the episode is Shunpei gets in line to shake Kakeru's hand, and then he goes behind the wall where the handshake event is, and he notices that the guy he met, who he thought was a staff member and never asked what his name was, is actually the complete stranger he hung around town with is Kakeru.
Oh boy. How does he react to this?
He makes like a surprised Pikachu face at first. He's like, oh, this happened. And then Kakeru gives him like the little sticker from the photo booth they had earlier. Then handshake event is over and he's like walking away all days. And then he goes to the concert afterwards and is all like, I'm a fan now. That's when you get the first performance with 6 Gravity only. So it's the Gravitic Romantic. Mm-hmm. So it's like their main song, 6 Gravity song.
This is one of the 3 you can find on YouTube pretty easily.
Yes. So it's all shiny. It's very pretty. And the ending song is Kakeru. And this is one thing I will give the anime is even though it's not animated, every episode has a different boy's solo as the ending song. At least. So you get a different ending every episode.
That's nice. That seems like kind of a trend because Idolmaster did that. And also, I didn't talk about it, but 22/7 did that as well.
And it's a good way to get people who are already fans to like be like, oh, I got like a little nod to my boy. Mm-hmm. That was good. Sometimes it doesn't make sense who they pick for the ending song because sometimes it's a character that wasn't really in the episode, but you know. But yeah, I kind of breezed through that, but that's kind of all there was to the episode was you meet the boys. They meet Shunpei. They go on a weird adventure with all strangers. They go back and perform. And
then this Shunpei kid, does he ever come back after this episode?
Just in cameos.
Oh boy.
Yes. So this episode was almost making it feel like Shunpei was the main character.
Yeah, that was what I thought when I watched this, and then he like wasn't even there in the second episode. And I'm like, now hold on.
Yeah, I was like, where's this boy that I actually kind of got to like? I don't know who any of the other boys are, but I like the kid.
He was like our center, like our emotional through line, and now he's just gone, and we don't care about him anymore.
It's just very confusing. Okay, so the next episode, episode 2. All of a sudden, it's the sports episode.
What? A sports episode is episode 2?
Well, kind of. Okay, so Iku, brown hair boy.
Okay, sporty one.
You learn, like, at the beginning that he's on a train. And apparently he's on a train commuting from his dorm, where all of the Tsukiuta boys live. And he's commuting with Yo and Yoru. So,
oof.
Yes. Iku, Yo, and Yoru. And they are, like, on the Shinkansen, because I guess Iku lives in Kyoto. Or, like, he goes to school in Kyoto from Tokyo.
But why would you not just transfer schools?
I don't know.
That's like
2.5 hours.
And the Shinkansen tickets are really expensive.
Yes.
That's like $100 train ticket one way.
It'd probably be faster to fly, honestly.
Yeah. It really would. That's like a 3-hour train ride.
Because apparently he needs to commute there to practice for his track team performance. And the thing that's weird here is, like, in a later episode, you see that the boys live at this dorm in Tokyo. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense when you think about it as a whole. But I guess thinking about it in this episode, maybe he was doing something and then, I don't know. It's a mystery.
Okay. Sure.
So basically, his whole concern this episode is that he wants to do good in his track meet, which is coming up this weekend. But at the same time, he can't skip out on practice. And he wants to make sure he can do sports and be an idol at the same time without giving up anything. So he's trying really hard. He is getting like praise from his classmates, being like, you can do it. I love you being an idol. But also they're like, you don't have to do the track team if you don't want to. And Iku's like, I want to because I want to be good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Back at the boys' dorm, so Shun, white-haired boy, you know, the Takane, he gives Iku a good luck charm, which, like, it's heavily implied that he actually can do, like, magic.
Okay, love it.
Love it. So it's a real charm. And he's all like, Iku's like, yes, I'm going to use this charm. I'm going to win the track meet. It's going to be great. And he's getting, like, encouraging messages from his friends who he's on the train with, apparently, every day, Yo and Yoru.
Mm-hmm.
You also see the first glimpse of the dorms there, and it's just, like, there's the 12 boys, and then apparently they have, like, 1 billion animals.
Okay, like...
They have bunnies and cats and a reindeer that looks like Rudolph.
Excuse me?
I don't know, has a red nose.
Why?
See, a lot of this would make more sense in the ethereal space of, like, a drama CD, where you're not visually looking at anything. You might just hear, like, oh, I'm back at home. Yeah, ooh. You know, like, that would be funny. But this was just like, I am thrown into this. This is episode 2. The boys who are the main center of this episode, which is Iku, Yo, Yoru, and Shun, like, they were not in that last episode at all, except for, like, cameos and being on stage. So I don't know who these boys are.
So it's just suddenly boys.
Suddenly there's boys. So day of the track meet, Iku runs out because he's late because he has to go on the Shinkansen to the track meet.
I cannot believe this child.
And on his way out, he drops the good luck charm. Oh no!
Oh no!
And Rui, Broccoli Boy, finds it, and he lets Shun, the guy who made the good luck charm, know, and Kai, the normal-looking guy, know, and I guess... See, there's just too many characters. But Shun, Kai, and Rui are basically like, we need to go and give him this good luck charm at the track meet. They, like, go on the Shinkansen to the track meet, and they meet up just in time to cheer on Iku.
Yay!
And he gets 4th place.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, he didn't win. But he's like, I tried hard, and I at least was able to do both of it.
Oof.
And then at the end, like, his 2 other friends, Yo and Yoru, show up, and they're like, haha, we're late. And then with that, all of Procella is there at the same time.
What?
Because those are all, because the 3 boys, and then Iku, and then the 2 other boys, they're all Procella. Which at that point I was like, oh, wait, these guys are in Procella? Like, counts on my fingers, like the Brazilian math meme. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's true.
I guess that is how this is.
And at the end of the episode, they all call a taxi so they can go record.
Okay.
And then you get the Procella animation dance song, which is also very good. Like, it's a jam. It's very good and it's very pretty.
It's a very good jam.
Yes.
Of the 2 jams we've been introduced to so far, which one do you like better?
The Procella one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But it's very close. They are both very good jams.
Both of these songs are alternated each episode as being the opening theme song from here on.
Gotcha.
So you hear them a lot. And the Procella one is the one who I actually liked listening to by the end, and the Shaken Shaken Gravitic Love was like,
shakin',
it got old.
Sugar, sugar, shaking, sugar, sugar, shake it, love, yes!
So, Procella 3D concert. And from here until the last episode, you do not get any more 3D concerts.
Oh, come on. I mean, okay, I would completely understand if they just blew their entire budget on these 2, on these 2 songs. Because again, it's the best part of this show. It's extremely crisp, very pretty, extremely nice to look at. I understand why there was only 3 of them.
It is not cheap to have good 3D animation, and they went for it.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, they went hard on the 3D. It looks really good.
So, episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, Star, you remember in Final Fantasy 15?
Oh, God.
When Gladio sees the Cup Noodle stand?
Yes.
And he's like, wow, Cup Noodle, my favorite. And then there's a whole quest about Cup Noodle.
Uh-huh.
So, this show was produced for Animate's 30th anniversary.
Do these motherfuckers go to Animate?
They are doing a cross promotion with Animate, where they are going to be managers for a day.
Oh boy.
And it is the Ikebukuro Animate, like the real life Ikebukuro Animate store.
Oh good. We went to that one, right?
Yes, we did. And it's a very targeted one because that's the one near Otome Road.
Yep. It's I think it's either like the founding one or it's just like really big. There's something special about it. There's a lot of animates.
A whole lot.
We had one in Shizuoka, and I would go there like every weekend. And I would occasionally run into students there and be like, Starla Sensei, why are you at Animate? And I'm like,
hunched over your Makoto figurines.
I did at one point run into a student after I just spent like $200 on the special edition, like Animate exclusive Idolmaster video game.
Ideal.
That like came with the drama CD and the calendar and like an actual like little, one of those little happy jackets.
You ran into your student?
I ran into one of my students. He was one of the kids who actually spoke pretty decent English. He's like, oh, Starla, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. He's like, that bag's from Animate. And I'm like, yes, it is. I'm walking this way now. I'll see you in class tomorrow.
Absolute legend star.
So it's like, listen, I was not secretive about my nerds to my kids. There were a couple of students in there who I did get conversations into about Idolmaster.
Nice.
One activity I did with the kids was future type game, and one of the things I told them to write down was write down 3 people who you'd like to marry, and you can I played MASH with them.
Yes.
Fictional characters are okay, like made up people are okay, and there was this one kid in one of my class who wrote Chihaya from Idolmaster, and I'm like,
nice.
Good taste. And I like gave him a thumbs up and we high-fived.
Nice. Great kid.
I forgot how we got into this conversation.
We were talking about Animate.
That's what it was. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll let you take over now.
So, back at Ikebukuro Animate, so all of the guys are working at the store, and they have a special cross-promotion where they're going to have a little concert at the end. And actually, I think it was just Six Gravity working at the store. And they're going to have a little collaboration where Haru, Glasses Guy, has a little piece of merchandise that they're selling exclusively for this event. Mm-hmm. In the show, there's a reoccurring theme of what they call Tsukiusas. So, like, they're little bunnies, and they're, like, oval-shaped Tsukiusa bunnies. So, like, instead of Tsukiuta, it's Tsukiusa.
Which is funny because the whole Japanese thing is, like, instead of a man on the moon, it's like you kind of see the figure of a rabbit on the moon. It's like, oh, deep puns.
And then the other pun is you could say Usagi instead of, Uda. So Usa, Uda, the pun is there.
Woof.
So these are a reoccurring theme, are these little Tsukiusas. So, like, these little keychains or dolls that look like bunnies, but they're all colored or themed after the boys. And they're reoccurring. They're in all the episodes as backgrounds. Like, people have them on keychains if they're fans. So at the Animate store, they have one of Haru in an Animate uniform, which is like, like the blue apron. So their goal is apparently they need to sell 1,000 of these keychains by the end of the day.
Oh, that's so many.
And they are all unexperienced because they have never worked in a store before because they are idol boys.
No.
So a lot of this episode was just like the boys trying to do something and then like them struggling, and then an actual Animate employee comes up and helps, and then the boys being like, wow, working at Animate must be so hard, but the employees are so good.
Oh boy. You can get all your favorite merchandise at Animate.
Exclusive Tsukiuta merchandise. They're trying to sell these bunnies, but all the girls are all the fangirls are too excited about fangirling than buying things because they're too shy to approach the boys. But then there's like a little girl who's like, hey, can I have that bunny? Or can I buy that bunny? And then like Hajime, Pirate King, hands the bunny to her. And then all the other like older girls who are not like the tiny little girl are like, I guess I can get in line and buy this too. So then they sell all the bunnies.
Yay!
And then it's time for their concert.
Did they show the concert?
Yes! Their concert is Gravitic Romantic. Same animation, same show, same concert venue. They're not in the Animate anymore for some reason.
Oh boy, they just literally canned that first animation and just reused it.
Yeah, they did.
Oof.
Yay!
Oh boy.
Yeah, so this was the episode where if I was watching it casually, I'd be like, I am done. Because it was cute. Like, I like Animate. Like, it's a good store, but this was just an ad. Like, this whole episode was just an ad for Animate.
Oof.
And a part of it, too, was, like, they're like, we need to work hard because of how hard Animate works so that they can bring our music to fans across Japan.
Oh, boy.
Yes, it's very much like Animate is so important.
Big yikes.
So...
Episode 4?
Episode 4! In this episode, you learn that Arata and Aoi, so super blonde boy whose personality is that he's bad at showing his personality.
Okay.
And Yo and Yoru, which we know because Yo, and then Yoru is the other one.
Yep. I keep having to go back to the picture.
They are all in a stage play together.
Okay.
And basically there are 2 performances, or at least 2 performances, and the main leads are going to be played interchangeably, first by Arata and Aoi. So, like, they're 2 of the first main leads, and then they're going to switch off with Yo and Yoru.
Okay.
And so they're all having their first meeting for this stage play. And one of the other people who is there, who's playing, like, I think the main villain, from what I could understand, is an actual, like, established stage actor. And his name is Mikazuki.
Okay.
And he kind of immediately is like, I am not going to suffer the quality of my acting for a bunch of idols who've never acted before.
Ouch.
Which is ouch and harsh. But at the same time, you know, it's probably true. I get it, right? Like, I get it.
It's fair, yeah.
Most of the bulk of this episode is them going to the rehearsals, and the main focus you get is on Arata and Aoi. Yo and Yoru are kind of like more in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it is that Mikazuki is acting directly across from Arata, who's like one of the main characters. But Arata's personality, again, is that he's bad at showing his personality and emotions, which is not a good thing to do when you're the hero in a stage play.
Nope.
It kind of comes to a head where Mikazuki's like, you need to, like, be better. I'm leaving. Like, he throws a fit. And Aoi runs out and tries to defend Arata, being like, this is just his personality. People don't really understand him like I do. And then Mikazuki's like, but this is a play? Like, people need to understand him like you do? Like, you gotta understand?
Yeah.
Arata, like, sees Aoi defending him, and Arata's like, Aoi's working really hard, so I'm gonna help him. And so Arata runs up and is like, I'm going to defend this guy. And he's like, starts getting angry, which like apparently is rare that he never gets angry in front of people, which I feel like would be more impactful if I had ever had any focus on this character before this episode.
If you ever knew anything about this character at all.
The fact that he got mad for Aoi probably would have been a lot more exciting. Arata talks about like how he's actually really nervous even though he's not showing it, but he's gonna make up for everything that he's been having trouble with his hard work. And then Arata does a good job. And then Mikazuki is like, so at the beginning he's all like, when he talks to Arata, he's all like, oh, I hate like these impudent idols, right? Like I hate these idols who like go above their head and don't know what they're doing. And then at the end, Mikazuki's all like, you know, I don't actually hate people who are like that. So Mikazuki's just tsundere.
Mm-hmm.
He offers words of encouragement. And then I guess at the end, there's a cut. And Yo and Yoru have already had their day of the stage play. And it is Arata and Aoi's turn. And they were the main focus on this episode. And they're about to go on stage. And hopefully Arata's going to do better. And the stage curtain comes up. And then the episode's over.
Oh, come on.
Right?
Come on now.
Which, again, it's just another thing that feels like it would have done better. It's like...
as an audio play.
Right?
I'm glad I didn't watch this.
Yes, it was just a lot of very frustrating, like the premise is not bad. Like, the idea of, like, they're boys who are in a stage play, and maybe they're idols and they're inexperienced, but they need to try to do better because it's their job. Like, that could go well. Like, you know, heckin' iDOL 7 did it well. But, like,
yeah.
This was, it just wasn't done well.
Nope. Doesn't sound like it.
Episode 5. Again, none of these episodes chain together.
Do you think that the people who wrote the audio plays are the same people who wrote the episodes for the anime?
I don't know. Maybe. I feel like probably not, because this was done through an animation studio, and usually they have in-house writers. But maybe. So episode 5, this one kind of centers around Kai. He's one of the older ones in Procella. He has a slick back brown hair. So he basically begins with like a flashback to when he was a kid, and he was reminiscing about like this kid that he met when he was young, when he was visiting his grandma in the hospital, and this kid was also sick and in the hospital, but they became friends, and it was like his first best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one summer, right? And then he wakes up from his dream because he was dreaming this flashback, and he is about to go shoot a promotion about summertime at like this theme park. That inside the theme park, apparently, there is a haunted house.
Okay.
Called the Time Maze.
Let's do the time maze again.
And inside the Time Maze is a special haunted house that actually apparently used to be a former hospital.
Okay.
And the Time Maze itself is apparently like a giant city where you're indoors, but it feels like you're outdoors.
Okay.
So apparently inside this park is this house, and inside the house is a city, and inside the city is a real hospital.
Okay.
Yes. So the people who are there for Time Maze time, there is Kai, there is Rui, Broccoli Boy, there is Shun,
the white-haired one,
the white-haired one, and there is Iku,
Sports Boy.
And I assume that Yo and Yoru must have been there, but I don't remember them being there, so almost all of Purcell is there.
2/3.
The way that they're doing the Time Maze is they're having the boys go through the Time Maze 2 at a time, I guess, and film them going through the Time Maze.
This seems like good YouTube content.
So Kai and Rui are going through the Time Maze, and then while they're going through the Time Maze, somehow Kai gets lost. Like, he follows a shadow of a creepy kid that he sees in the Time Maze. Rui loses sight of him. All of a sudden, Rui freaks out. He's like, Kai is lost in the Time Maze. I need to go find help. Which is like, it's just an amusement park. Like, he'll be okay.
Like, bro, it's not a real time maze.
But in fact, he probably wasn't okay because little kid he was following led him to the real haunted house inside the Time Maze, which was the former hospital.
Dun dun dun.
So meanwhile, while Kai is being led into the former hospital, and he has like occasional flashbacks about like his childhood friend who was sick in the hospital, Rui leaves the Time Maze and it like talks to their producer and the film crew and is like, we need to find Kai. He's lost in the Time Maze.
The Time Maze.
The Time Maze.
He's lost in the Time Maze.
And then, so he goes back in, and Iku's like, I'm gonna go in too. And Shun's like, I will go in and follow you. And at this point, like, it's kind of, again, implied that Shun actually has magical powers, and also he can probably see real-life ghosts.
It's always the white-haired ones.
Yes. So Shun... while the others are like walking through the Time Maze being like, where's Kai? We found his camcorder that he dropped. Shun is all like, my ghost senses are tingling, right?
Okay.
Back in the haunted house, Kai sees somebody who's all like, looks like his friend who was the child in the hospital. And you see him as an adult, like, dropping this kid off at the hospital. And the kid's like, don't go, don't leave me. And then Kai's like, oh, who are you? And, like, starts to go forward. And then Shun, like, grabs him.
Oh.
And then he collapses. Or at least we thought it was Shun because they were cutting it like it was Shun. But, see, this is where it's dramatic. But Shun finds him, so it wasn't Shun.
What?
It must have been his childhood friend who was a real ghost who stopped him from getting caught by the bad ghost who was impersonating his friend. Or at least I think that's what they were trying to make you believe. You see that Kai, like, when he was all like, oh, I'm gonna come and I'll save you, friend from childhood, it looked like the bad ghost was about to pull him into, like, this pit that was in this real haunted house because the haunted house was decrepit and falling apart. Which, again, is a bad idea for an amusement park.
Yeah, like, make your shit safe. There's like, laws about that.
Yes, there are.
You're gonna end up on an episode of Defunct Land, man.
At the end, Shun, like, leaves a little offering of, like, a Tsukiuta outside, being like, this is for you, for the friendly ghost, and the friendly ghost takes it, and...
Thank you for saving my life. Here's some of my merch. Like and subscribe.
Okay, the next few episodes, episode 6 and the few, they all kind of take place in the same location. In some ways, they kind of run together.
I'm into it.
They are at the beach, and by they, it's Six Gravity and Procella, so you get all 12 boys at once. and they're just relaxing, and they're playing volleyball together, and they're filming a music video. And then you hear a scream. It turns out that Haru, who is the glasses boy, found his glasses broken.
Oh no, God, that's worse than death for a Megane character.
Yes.
Your character quirk is gone.
And it's tough, too, because they're not just at a beach. They're on an island.
Oh no.
And their manager left for the day after filming the video. And from what I understand, they're the only ones on this island, on this beach house, and like the rest of civilization's over this bridge.
So wait, they just left these boys.
All 12 of them in this guest house.
Just by themselves.
Yes, and I guess they didn't give them any modes of transportation.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
That's really irresponsible, first of all.
It's very irresponsible, but it gets worse, but not this episode.
Uh-oh.
The whole point of this episode is they're trying to figure out who broke Haru's glasses.
So it's like a murder mystery?
And Koi takes on, Pinker Boy, kind of takes on like the lead as like Sherlock Holmes of like, I'm going to figure out what's going on. And he enlists Iku as kind of like his Watsons, like sports boy, as being like, you'll help me out and we'll interrogate everyone. So they interrogate almost everyone except for Hajime, Pirate King.
Okay.
And then they look for him and Hajime is missing.
He's dead.
Dun dun dun. And meanwhile, all the other boys convene, so they're like trying to figure out what happened to Hajime, who broke Haru's glasses, what's going on in this place. There must be a murderer or something like that.
Whoa.
And then you kind of, this is part that I actually really enjoyed. So you kind of get like a Clue the movie segment right here.
Okay.
You find out with the boys talking that Kakeru broke Haru's glasses by accident. He found them. There was like a towel, and like he didn't realize it was a towel, and he dropped it, and he thinks he broke the glasses, and Kai was there, and Kai like witnessed it, but Kai's like, oh no, I made Kakeru drop the towel that broke Haru's glasses. And so he set the towel in the kitchen, and he's like, we're gonna tell Haru about this later. But then you find out that Yo is the one who broke Haru's glasses. Because he found Haru's glasses in a towel in the kitchen that he accidentally knocked over in the kitchen, and they were broken. So it must have been him.
No.
And so he set them aside, etc., etc. This continues, right? So they're all like, I must have broken the glasses, and I put them here. And then...
No, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus.
And then all of them have the thought that, well, wait a second. The glasses weren't found where I placed them, so what happened to the glasses? And then Shun gets a phone call from Hajime.
The Pirate King.
And he's all like, meet me in the backyard, I will tell you everything.
Oh!
And then Hajime, there's like a scene where like Hajime is like, the truth is, and then like quick cuts to every single character's face, like, who was it?
Dun 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 dun! Like the rapid fire,
Yes.
like shot. Yes, good, perfect.
It was Kuroda. And I was like, who's Kuroda?
Who the fuck is Kuroda?
Apparently Kuroda is their pet bunny rabbit.
That they have and they brought to this island with them?
Well, you see, Kuroda snuck in the luggage. Yes, because they have all these pets, and Kuroda must have snuck in their luggage. And Kuroda is like Hamzo from Idolmaster, where he's like kind of sentient.
Mm-hmm.
And Hajime apparently disappeared because he went to confront Kuroda. And there was like a whole scene where like he was chasing Kuroda around and trying to figure out where he is. And then he realized it was Kuroda who broke the glasses, and then all the things happened with the boys. And then Hajime put the glasses back where they were broken in the first place by Kuroda so that Haru could find them naturally. That didn't make sense, but that's what happened.
No, that's not how you do.
That's that. But then, at the end of the episode, there's a big strike of lightning.
Oh!
And the one bridge that leads to the island catches on fire and collapses.
Of course it does.
Bum, 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 bum. Episode 7.
Dun dun.
The boys are trapped on the island and a thunderstorm rages outside.
Whoa.
And this episode actually was probably my favorite episode of the series. This one was enjoyable, yes, because it was ridiculous.
I'm glad that one of them was.
This one, it was enjoyable because it made no sense And it definitely would have been better as a drama CD, but it was great with them trying to make it work.
All right.
So they're stuck on the island. A thunderstorm rages outside. And just like every idol anime, the power goes out.
Of course it does.
But they're like, well, at least the water's working. But then...
The water goes out?
Yeah, their bunny apparently claws up the water tank.
What? This is an awful rabbit.
And they're like, oh no, we have no water and we have no power. And they're like, at least we have some leftover curry from dinner we can use as food to sustain ourselves.
And if we run out, we can eat this awful rabbit.
Yes. I mean, you see them feeding the rabbit curry, which is so bad for rabbits.
Yeah, no.
Like, rabbits should be eating leafy greens and hay, and that's it. Like, maybe a carrot occasionally, but definitely not curry.
Sarah's very passionate about her bunnies.
It is important. Don't feed rabbits curry. Feed them kale and hay.
This PSA brought to you by iDOL Days. Don't feed rabbits curry.
Yeah, so the rabbit tore up the water tank on top of the house. So the boys are like, oh no, we can salvage whatever water we have left because it's like a slow leak. And the power's out, so we'll figure something out as far as having food. All that being said, they're like, also like, and I called the manager and they'll be here tomorrow.
Okay.
So right now the boys are freaking out. So they have water buckets like full of like fresh water, like tons and tons of buckets in their kitchen. And they have all this leftover food that they're trying to save. And they're like, we're going to gather firewood and we'll make sure everything's all right. And then in my head, I'm like, it's one night.
Yeah.
It's just one night. You guys can pee outside. You'll be okay. Then they notice that Kuroda is missing.
Of course.
Shithead bunny.
Rip.
So Hajime's like, I'm gonna go find Kuroda. And then Haru's like, wait, before you leave, I found a map of the island.
Where did you get that?
I guess in their house thing that they're staying in, this guest house. And Haru's like, and on this island, there's like this pier, and on the pier, there's probably a boat or some tools that we can use to repair a boat so we can get off this island. Which again, it's one night. They're there for one
night. It's not fucking Survivor.
This is the Survivor episode. It's wild. And so then both of the boys split up. It's like all the boys split up, and half of them decide there's two routes to get to this pier. And one of them is through the forest, and one of them is through these caves or something. Because apparently that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
And then Kai, the slick back hair guy, is like, I'm going to just stay back at the house and try to fix the water tank just in case we run out of water because, oh no.
Oh boy.
There's also some weird cuts in her cut where like there's like a narrator who comes on scene and is like, and then this happened, which it's like, is this supposed to be like a TV show? But then you're also playing it as if it's not. So Hajime's team, they're going through the cave and they find out that the cave is an abandoned mine.
Good.
And then while they're walking in the mine, because that's the best decision, Kakeru falls. Like the train tracks or like the mine cart tracks break, and Kakeru falls down.
Oh no.
And it looks like it's like 30 feet, like a few stories. But he's just like, I'm okay. And they're like, well, we gotta get Kakeru out of there somehow.
Little Kakeru's falling down the well?
And then they all like save him. But again, like he fell like 30 feet, but he's like, yeah, this is fine.
It's anime.
And Hajime has some survival knowledge and to like get Kakeru out, and they travel in the cave, further in the cave. And there's a point later on where Kakeru almost falls again, but Yo grabs him because there was a gust of wind because they were near the cave exit. And they exit the cave and they are at the pier, and it is like morning. So like they were in this cave all night trying to find this pier on this tiny island. They get to the pier and they're like, oh look, Kuroda's here. He must have known that we would meet him at the pier.
The stupid rabbit.
The stupid rabbit. And then all the other boys show up and they're like, oh hey, we got here at the same time. And then they look at the pier and they're like, oh no, the only boat has drifted into the water. What will we do? And then Koi, like pink hair one, he's like, I'll go out and get it. And so he starts swimming, and then he gets interrupted, like a splash comes out of the water. And it's Kai, the guy who said he would stay back at the house.
Who obviously didn't, because now he's swimming.
Yeah, he's not just swimming, he's spearfishing. Like, he has, like, a bunch of fish on a stick.
Of course he does.
He's like, oh, hey, I found another map that showed a more direct route, which didn't make me go through these caves or this forest. So I got here way, way, way before you.
Hi, guys. Check out my fish. By the way, I've been here for hours. Where were you?
They're cooking fish on the island, and, like, you know, like, they have, like, their curry back at home and all their water, and it's like morning the next day, and then they get a phone call on their cell phones because they do still have those.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like their manager, and he's all like, oh, hey, we're gonna be there soon on the boats. And they're like, okay. The end.
Wow.
The ending is like the strange narration over again, and it's like, the film crew left this journey behind us. Next episode, UFOs. Date to be confirmed. And you're like, was this supposed to be a script? Like, I don't understand. It would make more sense if it wasn't real, but at the same time, why would I watch this?
It's like in Idolmaster when they have the random drama episodes, but in that one they make it obvious that they're filming a drama because it only lasts like 2 minutes.
All right, so now it gets weirder. Episode 8.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, episode 8, you see the girls.
Girls in my guydol anime? Hot damn.
And these girls, they're all in the same, like it's like a studio backstage space, right? And there are like 4 of the girls, and Shun and Rui like run into them. And Shun is all like, oh, hello, princesses. And then like one of the girls is like, we're not princesses, we're goddess. And then she gets muffled, right?
Uh-huh.
And you also learn that even though there's only 4 girls there, that there is more of them.
Schrodinger's girls.
So these girls are the other half of like the Tsukiuta franchise. These are the 12 girls who are based off of the 12 months of the year.
Okay.
This is their canonical backstory. They are all inhabitants of the moon, and they are goddesses who came to Earth to be idols as part of their goddess training.
I guess.
So do you understand why I said it mostly takes place on Earth?
Yeah. Sarah, why does this happen?
Because it would make more sense as a drama CD.
Oh boy.
The next part is that they are like spying on Shun and the other boys, and they're like, we want to be better than them. We want to beat them as idols, so we will use our moon goddess charms to become as charming as we possibly can.
So they're like reverse Jupiter.
Yes. And so they are like, what we're going to do is we're going to use our powers, and one of them is like, I have this gun that if you shoot it at us, it'll increase our feminine charms.
We'll use our magic powers. I have a gun.
And then another girl's like, I have this poison potion that alters you to be very feminine. And they're like, we're going to use this on ourselves to alter our feminine charms with the gun and the poison.
Okay.
They take the gun and the poison at once, and there's a big explosion, and a bunch of star fragments fly out. And unfortunately, it's not Cast-Off Comic.
Hey, castoff-comic.com, wink.
Unfortunately, what happens is that they all turn into little Tsukiuta bunnies.
The buns.
But then you find out that the gun that could reverse them, the one that made them the bunnies, could also reverse them.
Mm-hmm.
It contained these like star fragment crystals that they need to get them back from the explosion to become not bunnies again. And then there's something about like they have like until like the next day, like, you know, they'll run out of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey Sarah, I'm gonna need you to pause for a second while I go rewrite my whole webcomic to be that but better.
Oh, it's absolutely important. So conveniently, all of the star crystals landed in the Tsukiuta dorms, because where else would they go? The 4 of them from the beginning travel back to Earth to find the charms.
So wait, they were in space when they did this?
Oh yeah, they were on the moon because they're moon goddesses.
I thought this was like backstage somewhere, and they were just
It was
fucking
backstage,
off.
And then all of a sudden they're on the moon because they can transport powers or something.
It's like, hold on, we gotta go to the moon to talk shit. Vroom. Okay, we're on the moon. Time to do some stuff. Okay, we're bunnies. We gotta go back to Earth now. Ow, damn it. Vroom.
So they're back to Earth as bunnies. There's like a cute little gag where, like, you know, they basically play Toy Story a few times to try to avoid getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
And just because their whole dorm is full of the Tsukiuta bunnies, they're like, oh, someone just left their Tsukiuta bunnies around. But then Rui catches them And he's like, oh, these Tsukiuta bunnies can move. And the girls find out that even though they can talk to each other, they can't talk to the humans when they're in the Tsukiuta forms. So, like, there's a bunch of charades where they're trying to get Rui to help them find the crystals. And they find most of the crystals, except for one, which is in the possession of Shun.
Oh.
The one who's actually magic, probably.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's a scene where they go into Shun's room, and that's where they find that Shun has, like, a Hajime body pillow and stuff, and all the shrine.
Oh, good.
They turn on TV, and they see that Shun is on TV with a live show, and he is wearing the star piece as a necklace. Oh, no!
Oh, he's accessorizing, oh god!
And then they find out that Shun won't be there till the next day.
Oh, no!
And then there's, like, this moving thing about, like, the goddess saying that they don't want to try to give up being goddesses, and then Rui, even though he couldn't really understand, was all like, I had a dream once. He's like, I want to be an idol and cheer people up and make music. Yeah, and so then, you know, Rui goes to Shun's recording studio and gets the crystal, and then Shun gives, like, a little wink to the Tsukiutas, like, oh, I totally know that you're really the girls.
Yeah.
And then they go back to the moon and they become girls again. And then they're like, I'm gonna cheer Rui on because he helped us. The end. All right, so episode 9, there is no fantasy in it. It's just like the genres keep skipping around.
Oh boy.
So this episode mostly focuses on Yo and Yoru, because apparently not only are they friends nowadays, they are childhood friends.
Okay.
Yoru finds, like, a bunch of sheet music, and he's all like, oh, hey, this is from back then.
Back in the day.
Essentially, Yo. He was the popular one, and Yoru was, like, the lonely one. But, like, they were childhood friends, but then they drifted apart because Yo got a bunch of friends, and Yoru wanted to focus on music. And I'm just really glossing over this episode, because to me, it just felt like it was a very predictable plot with a lot of very forced emotion. Because it was essentially the plot was they're friends now. They were friends when they were really little. There was a point in middle school where one of them got really popular and one of them wanted to just focus on music, even though they both used to like music. And then they kind of came back together for this school festival where they both had to sing in a choir, and then Yo's like, hey, I like singing again, and then they're friends again.
Okay.
That's the drama of that episode.
Got it.
Yeah, there was not a lot to it. It felt, again, like a lot of the things are supposed to be more shippy, like Yo and Yoru. It feels so forced to me.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, it just feels like cookie cutter plot, like very bland emotions. You barely know these characters at all. And what you do know about them might be from, like, little gags when they were, like, trekking through the forest to, like, save a boat, you know? They don't, nothing really builds on itself. So that episode, by that point, I'm just glossing over.
Yeah.
Episode 10 is similar. I'm going to kind of gloss over it. It's Aoi and Koi. So Aoi is platinum blonde hair boy and Koi is pink hair boy. And their job today is that they're doing a documentary tour of the Tsukiuta dorms.
Okay.
What this episode is they're just going around the dorms, and it's just a bunch of fan service for people who are already fans of these boys.
Of course. Like the rest of the show.
Like the rest of the show, but this one, like, in hyperdrive, because it is basically like, we're gonna go into this person's room. Oh, look at all the cool things they have. This is what they like. Oh, this guy likes these shows. Oh, this guy has a bunch of pictures of Hajime because he has that body pillow.
So it's just MTV's Cribs?
It's just MTV's Cribs. Like, you go into Aoi's room, and it's like, wow. Like, there's, like, the line of, like, oh, you're a big book nerd. You have all these cookbooks. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know anything about you, but I guess you're just trying to say that you cook, and that's your personality, I guess.
You'd think the cookbooks would be in the kitchen.
Right? But no, he just has a bunch of cookbooks in his room that he reads. And then you go to Koi's room at the end, the pink hair boy, and you find out that he has a whole lot of gunpla, or, like, you know, similar to gunpla.
Like the Gundam models?
Yeah, like the Gundam models. And he's like, want to watch this anime with me? And he turns on his anime that's totally not Gundam. There are things that are cute ideas, but they're just not executed well. Like the Gundam parody anime is like 5 minutes long of this parody anime. And it's like, if these episodes are 20 minutes long or 25 minutes long, I don't need a quarter of them to just be a parody anime.
Oof.
So yeah, after they do their dorm tour, Koi finds out, or like Koi gets an offer to be on a TV show, and he gets all excited. He's like, I am so excited. I did this thing. I'm going to be on a TV show. I'm going to study my lines so hard. And so like there's like a montage of him studying and practicing his lines so hard, and everyone's like, wow, Koi's being really dedicated about this one. I wonder what it is. And then they go on TV, and it turns out Koi's acting role was to be a voice actor in this Gundam anime.
Mm-hmm.
And then the gag is his character shows up that he voices, and his character's only line is like a scream. He's like, ah! And then his character dies.
No.
And they're like, wow, he spent a whole lot of time just to do that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That part was cute. There's parts that were enjoyable, but the overall effect is it could have been much better. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
So at least we're in the last 2 episodes. Yay!
Yay!
Second last episode, penultimate episode, is focusing on Hajime. And this is one that I enjoyed, actually. The last 2 episodes I think were mostly enjoyable. They are getting ready to finally have their joint concert. Which actually, I don't think I mentioned. First episode, they announced like, we're going to have a joint concert later in the year. We've never had a joint concert before of Six Gravity and Procella.
Oh.
Which is weird because like they do all their stuff together, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And also they were in a concert together.
Yeah.
At the first episode, they were in a concert together.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, we're going to have a joint concert. And you're like, isn't this a joint concert? But anyways, it's about to be their joint concert. This episode, you see Hajime, Pirate King, and it's just kind of him reflecting on, like, the time where, like, Six Gravity started and he became the leader and you got to know all the boys. But this is all done really quickly in flashbacks, which, like, I would have liked this to be, like, the plot of the series, not just flashbacks of the last 2 episodes. But, you know, there he goes. So Hajime's the leader, but, like, this whole time while they're planning for their first joint concert together, Hajime seems like really lost in thought. And all the other guys are like, Hajime must be overworked because we're practicing for this concert. But Hajime also has like this crazy schedule because he's our leader and he's super talented and he's doing all these commercials and TV programs, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
After one of the days, Hajime just doesn't come home at his normal time.
Oh.
And all of the other... Actually, it's all the younger boys. So all of the younger boys, not just Six Gravity. They're all worried. And they're like, Hajime hasn't come home. He's been working so hard. What if he's dead because he's worked too hard? We need to go find him.
He has died.
But what you actually find out is that Shun showed up at the end of Hajime's rehearsal and was like, hey, let's go on a date.
Mm.
And they were actually on a date. They're at like some sort of like theme park, I guess, area. And they're not being noticed by fans because Shun is actually magic.
Okay.
Hajime is still kind of sullen and like down, and he's just like reminiscing of like, oh, I remember when we were so new and like there were so many things we wanted to do as Tsukiuta. Shun kind of pulls out of him that like to Hajime, like having a joint concert was like to him the end goal. That's like the dream, is like having this big joint concert. And so like the fact that he's getting to this joint concert, like what he feels like is so fast, he's like, I haven't processed it yet, and like it scares me. Which I think is a valid feeling. Like, I like that. He's like, I feel like I've reached the end, even though I'm not ready to be reaching the end yet. And then Shun, like, because he's actually magic, like, snaps his fingers, and they end up at, like, this, like, square where, like, the Gravitic love song is playing on, like, this, like, big screen, like, it's Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of fans freaking out. And then Shun's all like, oh, you're not at the end of your dream. You're still in the middle. And there's like all these girls are so excited for us and it's not the ending. And as long as we have the fans, they're not going to look at it as an ending. So we shouldn't look at it either and stay shining for them.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't mind that. That sounds sweet.
Yeah. And I actually like this like idea of like someone who's a leader type feeling like I don't want this to be over and it feels like it's over.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a complex emotion that I think works well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Hajime is excited and he's like, I'm going to stop being so depressed about this concert because I guess in some ways he was like, I don't want this to happen because I don't want it to feel like everything's over. And he's like, I'm going to actually look forward to it and I'm going to sparkle for our fans.
Mm-hmm.
He goes home and all the boys are glad he's not dead. And it was just a cute episode thing at the end where, like, Haru, like, gets out of the bath and he's all like, oh, Hajime, it's your turn. But, like, he's sleeping in, like, a big pile in the living room with all the other boys. And they're all, like, cuddled up in a big cuddle puddle. And it's cute.
That's fan service.
Yeah, it was definitely fan service. And, like, you know, certain boys were leaning on certain other boys. And you're like, I know this is... Well, okay, the thing about shipping is I want it to be me who feels like I want to ship the boys. Not like... I don't feel like I have no other options in this show. You feel me?
Yeah.
But it's still cute. Like, Hajime and Shun, I think, is actually cute because they actually have interactions like this where it feels like they are very different people who have different opinions on things, who are actually encouraging each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I could have gotten that from the other boys if it was written in a way that it felt like there was growth.
If it was written good.
If it was written well. Anyways, it's time for the last episode.
Last episode. The nightmare's almost over.
Almost over. They are getting ready for their joint concert, which is called the Full Moon Festival.
Of course it is.
Yes, it is. And Hajime and Shun, because they're the leaders of their respective groups, are like going over everything with their managers for their schedule, because it's like right before the concert. And everyone's like, is this an okay outline for the schedule? And then Hajime's like, you know, kind of concerned, and Shun's like, give us a minute. And so they go and take the schedule back to all the boys, and they're like, this is our schedule, and it seems okay, but, like, there feels like there's something missing from it. And then they're like, you know what we should do? We should have a song with Six Gravity and Procella singing at the same time added to the schedule.
Yeah, no shit, if it's a joint concert.
So I was like, so what makes this different from the first episode concert if they were just gonna alternate songs? Like, I don't understand.
Are you serious, though?
Yeah, so that's, like, their thing. It's like, we should have a section where each of the boys sings individual songs, and then we should have one with all 12 of us.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, probably that's a good idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the main drama here is that their mysterious president of Suki Pro, I think is what it's called, or Tsukiuta Productions, he is so busy with all of his other idol groups, he is not in town, and unfortunately, the president of this corporation is the one who writes all of the music.
Of course.
And they're all worried, the managers are worried. There's like only a week left to the concert.
Oh god, no.
What if we can't get this song written in time? And see, to me, this would have been a great opportunity to have the boy who's been dropping hints about wanting to be a songwriter to write a song.
Yeah?
But instead, they develop a plan to try to track down the president.
Oh,
They don't mention Rui at all.
No!
Yeah.
That's illegal.
It's illegal.
Come on. If you're gonna give me this character development, at least do something with it.
They didn't do any character development. Basically, they find out that he's at, like, an airport, and, like, they go to the airport, and, like, all 12 of them are running around trying to track things down. And this is where you get, like, cameos of some of the other side characters. So you get Mikazuki from the acting episode, and he's all like, I think you need to go to the international flights. And then you get the Rui, like, suddenly gets laser vision of, like, I know where to go. And then you see it's, like, all the moon princesses are directing his way from the moon.
Uh-huh.
Shunpei's there.
He's just there.
Shunpei's there. And they end up finding the president as he's driving away in a limousine, and they hand him the proposition for the president to write a joint song.
They couldn't have just texted him?
You think, right?
They could have just texted him.
They probably could have. I think the idea was that he was, like, working internationally, but I don't know. But
you can, like, still check your email.
And it was also like he was leaving the airport as opposed to flying away in the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why did this happen?
Well, anyways, actually this was second to last episode. Last episode is just the concert episode.
Okay.
So last episode, it's their concert. And the way this concert works is you get their first song, which is Gravitic Romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Gravitic Love.
The one that we've seen, like, 6 times now.
Oh, yes. And then the next one you get is the Procella song.
That you've seen, like, 6 times now.
Yes. And then you get a bunch of the solo melodies, which are overlaid with sometimes, like, a little bit of animation of the boys, like, you know, like, bobbing their heads. But then it's just kind of cut with scenes that already existed from all of the previous episodes.
Mm.
And then each of the boys, like, come up in groups and they talk about recapping the previous episodes, being like, oh, remember that time we were acting in the stage play?
Oh, jeez.
So there's a bunch of recap about episodes, and then they have their joint song, which is good. It's a good song. The animation's amazing.
It is a good song. Like, honestly, this is a really good jam. There's that one part, like, I forget exactly where it is, but it's like, each little character gets their own, like, little line of the song, but then there's this one part, either right before or right after the chorus, where they just fucking, the tempo goes up, and they're just breaking it down, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, it's good.
I love this.
It's well done.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not doing a good job, but it's good. Go look it up.
Yeah, and it's pretty. It's like eye candy. It's like very good to watch.
Like, should have deserved a better show for how pretty this animation is.
And then at the end, after this song, the episode's over. Like, it just, like, they jump up, last song, and then it's cut. And I honestly was like, wait, did my app crash? But no, it's just over.
Did Tsukiuta just die?
It was really unclear. And yeah, that's it. That was Tsukiuta.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting.
It was just like in my opinion, it would have been great as a bunch of separate drama CDs. That's my opinion.
I have no research to back this up, but based on what you told me and based on how this has worked in the past, I feel like they probably got the writers of the drama CD to try and write animation, but those are two very different mediums.
Yes.
And it just didn't quite work.
Yes.
But then again, if you started as a radio drama, making a radio drama with pictures is probably the next best thing.
Yes.
So that's probably what, these are the fans that we already have. We don't have to do much else to appease them. Let's just give them pictures with the same shit they've been eating and enjoying.
And at that same point is, like, it has, like, a decent score on, like, Mal. And, like, there's all the reviews I could find were people being like, you know, I kind of enjoyed it because I was already a fan. So I feel like most people who watched this anime all the way through watched it because they were already fans. So they just kept giving them more of what they've been getting.
Gotcha.
That being said, Tsukiuta the Animation Season 1 sold so many Blu-rays that a Season 2 is currently airing.
Oh boy, I can't wait, Sarah! Is it currently airing or is it finished by now?
It is on hiatus because of the world situation.
Of course.
Which kind of goes to show that these are not really high... You know, anime is not super high budget when something makes them delay heavily because it means it wasn't animated before the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have a buffer.
Yep. Tsukiuta.
What a thing.
Sorry, fans. It wasn't my favorite.
Well, at least I feel slightly more justified in not enjoying it when I tried to watch it.
Yeah, I feel like I would have dropped this by Season 3. I would have dropped this, or Episode 3. I would have dropped this podcast by Episode 3 because it's just a mess. This whole plot. Not the podcast Episode 3. Me going over Episode 3 of Tsukiuta.
It's like, we're just going to review the first 3 episodes because I physically could not bring myself to watch the rest.
Oh, sorry if I could have done that. I was like, I gotta do this for our listeners, and also I talked to my wife for a while I was, like, in the shower, and I was like, I'm just gonna rant about Tsukiuta, and I'm ready.
I'm all pumped. I gotta talk about this bad show.
Yeah, and it was just, like, a lot of, like, it's time to watch Tsukiuta, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch Tsukiuta, and I'm gonna make myself feel better for watching Tsukiuta by saying I'm going to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender afterwards, or I'm going to watch Princess Connect, and it'll be worth it.
There you go.
But overall, if you're a fan of these boys...
Good for you.
Good for you. This is something that at least has an official English translation.
Oh, does it?
Like, it's not dubbed, it's subbed. But basically, all the drama CDs or fan games, none of them are in English. So if you're an English fan of Tsukiuta, this might be the most accessible way for you to see any of it. Tsukiuta, I'm alive, I made it! Alright, Star, thank you for listening to me talk about Tsukiuta.
Thank you for watching a bad show so I didn't have to.
You're welcome. Deep bow. Okay, everyone, if you want to catch up on iDOL days on the internet, you can find most of our information on our website, idoldays.carrd.co, and that's card with CARRD. Where can they find us on social media, Star?
Yes, we've recently joined social media, so now you can follow the podcast on both Twitter and Instagram. We'll be posting stuff there fairly regularly, talking about our idols, asking questions, talking to you guys. So if you want to follow us there on both platforms, we are at iDOL DAYS Pod. That's IDOLDAYSPOD on both Instagram and Twitter. Give us a follow. Come talk to us. It'll be fun. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. This has been iDOL Days. We've been Lady.
See you next live.
Bye.
Bye.